Hey guys, Dave with Moneyology here. Hope everyone is having a great weekend. This is the uranium sector review for September 2nd, 2018. We're going to just go through our watch list and take a look at what's taking place in the uranium sector and see if we can spot any opportunities. So starting with there are going to be some large caps, not large caps, but relatively large companies, and there are going to be some micro caps from Canada. And again, please do your own due diligence on these companies. All we are doing is just looking at these charts. Make sure you do your due diligence on these actual companies before investing in them. So starting with API Energy Corp, API.CA. So this has been consolidating for a better part of 2 years. But something that I'm pointing out in this chart is that look at the accumulation that started to take place here in mid-2017, and it's really starting to build here. So that's something to keep an eye out for. If it breaks above 25 cents, then it becomes interesting. Until then, I wouldn't be looking at this name in particular. Cameco, this is the major player in the space. So this has pulled back some from 1168 all the way down to a low of 1013. One thing I'll point out here, and this is a major, very important part of technical analysis. Look what happened here. You had a successive high in price, but momentum on a weekly basis actually fell. And that suggested that this move was likely ending, and that a pullback was in the cards until more momentum was to be built. So I think we're very close to a bottom here, and notice how this is curling right below the 50 RSI on the weekly level. So this is very likely the bottom in the uranium space. So you definitely want to be looking at these names. Canalaska Uranium, CVVUF. This one not so impressive right now. It's pulling back some. It's struggling to break above the middle Bollinger Band, but one that has some potential. It's really rallied from 2016, pulled back quite a bit. So if this can break above 30 cents, this can find some legs. Deep Yellow, DYLLF. This one has been very impressive. It's been on my radar for a little bit now. Been consolidating here for a better part of 2 years, and now it looks like it wants to really move higher. If this can break above, I would say 33-cent level, this can really take off, have a really nice run. Look at the accumulation that's been taking place, both in cash money flow as well as the accumulation distribution. So something's taking place here, and that's definitely interesting. You see the momentum building as well. So keep this one very closely on your radar. Denison Mines, another one that's been hard hit over the last couple of years. It's been consolidating here between 40 and 60 for the better part of 2 years, but momentum's starting to build. It's firmly closed the week above the 50 RSI level, which is very important. And so I think a move towards 60 is definitely in the cards. Question is what happens thereafter. If it can break above 60 cents, then this is going to be a significant break towards new 52-week highs. Encore Energy. If you've watched my previous videos, I've been saying that this particular consolidation is actually very bullish. It's kind of like a cup and handle here. And what's interesting is that even as this was consolidating, momentum kept building and building and building. And I said if it can just break out above that 7 to 8 cent zone, it really take off. And sure enough, it finally did. And boom, had a double over the last couple of months. And while this may pull back some to retest and possibly shake the lungs below the 200-week moving average at 11 cents, this can really break above 15 cents and really fly thereafter. So Encore, definitely want this on your radar. Energy Fuels, Quadruple U, another one that really has broken out over the last couple of months. And look at the volume here. This is very substantial, and it suggests to me that this move is legit, and this stock will ultimately, when uranium does ultimately break out as a sector, this can see double digits. Now, I'll point out here, even though it's consolidating here, if it breaks below $3, this can possibly correct all the way back to 2. You see that the volume's kind of dropped, and momentum, even though it's still above, it's actually closed the week below that 70 level. So, and it's possibly showing a little bit of negative divergence, struggling to break above the 200-week moving average. But if it breaks above the 200-week at 385, a move towards 5 is definitely in the cards. Definitely like this name long term. Fission Uranium, FCUUF. Another one of those that's been hit over the last couple of months and years, but it's finally starting to show some RSI strength, and if it can build on this move from last week where it rallied 7%, see the PPO curling back towards break above zero. If that can break, and if it can break above 60, then it gets really interesting. Break above 70, and that's your confirmation that a long-term bull trend is in effect. Forces Metals, this was our favorite chart play of last week, last couple of weeks, and notice this. You had this curling consolidation, and then you broke above the 50 RSI, and you really took off. Couldn't quite break above that 70 level, retested 50, tried the 70 level again, retested 60, and now building consecutive highs, and finally broke above that 70 level. That's very crucial. Closed towards the highs and above the 200-week moving average at 25. This can go much higher. Of course, I haven't done due diligence on any of these names, but just from a technical pattern, this looks like this can move much higher, possibly run towards 1 if not higher. Look at the accumulation here. Global X Uranium, this is the ETF. So far, it hasn't really moved to suggest anything's taking place. This is the daily chart, so not so impressive. Cameco really leads this particular chart, so nothing to see here. The monthly chart also struggling to break above the middle Bollinger Band, but definitely something you want to keep an eye out for. Now, GVX Uranium, this one has been consolidating here in this kind of bullish wedge pattern, and if this can break above this downward trend line, it can run towards 20 cents real quick, possibly to a high of about 32.5. So keep an eye on this one as it's building strength with positive momentum towards the 50 RSI zone. Laramide Resources, another one that was one of our favorites from last week, broke out of this wedge pattern, built multiple points of positive divergence where triple bottom, but momentum was kind of growing, and finally, boom, took off here, high volume, and you see the accumulation. So this can run towards 40 cents next week, possibly can run towards 60 unless it pulls back to consolidate. Keep an eye on this one. Next Gen Energy, another one that's been consolidating for a while. I like this from a fundamental standpoint, but until it breaks above 2, there's not much to see. We want to see this break above 3, and that really will confirm the new uptrend. Sky Harbor, SYHBF, another one that has a very nice resource base. It's been consolidating for a long time, and it's finally building some strength. Look at that, and it's closed the week above the 50 RSI level. If it can continue to build there and break above 40 cents, that's your confirmation that this wants to move higher, 55 cents, and possibly much higher thereafter. Your Energy, URG, another one that's been consolidating. Look at the volume here over the last couple of weeks. Something's taking place in the uranium sector that's very interesting. We're not seeing it in the URA ETF, but we are seeing it in some of the smaller names, and we're seeing it in some of these junior explorer companies as well. So something can definitely be changing in the cards, and very soon. If this breaks 90 cents, this is your sign to go long, possibly run towards 2. UEC, Uranium Energy Corp, another one that's building and consolidating above the 50 RSI level. If this can break above, I think this is headed towards 2. There's a lot of support. You've got the 200 EMA, the 50 EMA right below it, along with the middle Bollinger Band. And so there's a lot of support below it. And if this can break above 2, move towards 3, a sharp move towards 3 definitely could be in the cards. This is just a look at the weekly chart of the URA ETF. It's consolidating here. It's got some positive divergence here on RSI, but again, till it breaks that 14 level, not much to write home about. Finally, in this list is Western Uranium Corp, WSTRF. Look at this beautiful move. After consolidating here successfully, holding this bottom in 2018, it's built multiple points of positive divergence in RSI, and finally when we broke above that 50 level, we made a first strong move from about 50 to 76, retested that, and then once we broke out above the 50 RSI once more, that was your sign that this is really getting ready to take off. So now we're above 120. I think the next target is at 220. So there's a big move here taking place, and you definitely want this in your portfolio if you're high in the uranium sector. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate your support. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter, and StockTwits at Moneyology, and hopefully we'll start making some more videos in the not too distant future. Feel free to send us your feedback, and take care, and good luck with trading and investing.